Number one, I got this boat, it's beautiful. I always want it to look like this. How often am I gonna want a detail or a buff or a wax? In Florida, especially on darker hulled boats, I recommend a good buff and wax every 6 months. You can hire somebody to do that, or of course at MarineMax in your Go Boating kit, you're gonna have a detail kit that comes with that. Number two, what is the scheduled maintenance? You don't wanna miss any of those maintenances. That's gonna change a lot depending on what kind of engines you have, also if you have generators or stuff like that. Inboard, outboard engines. For example, we're gonna use these 300 Mercury Verados. Your first service is gonna be at 100 hours, and every 100 hours after that, you're gonna have a different service schedule, your 100-hour service, 200-hour service, and so on. Just schedule that with a Mercury certified dealer like MarineMax, make sure everything's taken care of. 3, what preventative maintenance can I do on the boat? The biggest one on these outboards in the salt water, well, and a lot for those inboard outboards on salt water too, flush those engines. Every time you get back, first thing you do while those thermostats are open and everything's nice and hot, hook it up to the hose right there at your hose adapter, let that fresh water run, and that is the biggest thing that you can do for preventative maintenance on your boat. 4, another big thing, and it always seems to be the most complicated, even though it seems very simple, naming a boat. How do I name a boat? If there's another boat out there with that same name, can I have that same name? Yes, you can. Get creative with it, have fun, own it, it's yours. Another question is, hey, this is a lot of information to take in all at once. Is there some sort of place I can read up on all of this? The answer is yes. In your owner's bag, there's manuals for everything, whether it's the boat, the generator, your electronics, most importantly, your engines. You can read up on all that. Anything you need to know, you're gonna find. And of course, if it's not on paper, you can find it online too. Just like anything else you buy, you're gonna have your owner's manuals.
Hey guys, Captain Keith here from MarineMax in Clearwater. We've had a few questions about isinglass and the how to care for isinglass and or strataglass. What's the difference between the two? This is strataglass. It's hard plastic. You can't roll it. So if you were to open this up and zipper it up, the pieces are gonna stay flat and in one piece. Isinglass, on the other hand, is more pliable and you can roll it. You don't want to fold it. If you fold the isinglass, you're going to put creases in it. Now, one thing you got to be careful about, especially with the isinglass when you are rolling it in the saltwater environment, the water's got salt in it, obviously. So the water dries, the salt crystals stay behind. And then what happens when you roll that up, that salt is abrasive and it's going to start etching and scratching your isinglass. So before you roll it, make sure you wash it off with fresh water, dry it. Preferably, you can lay it flat. If you have to, you want to roll it up. Now, we've also, on cleaning it, I went talked to our detailers. These two products right here, Plexus, the detailers recommend this 210, are both excellent items for cleaning the isinglass and the strataglass.
What are those things that you're looking for, Keith, when you're reading wave height particular?
First of all, I'm looking at this, just so happens we're coming by here. Take a look at these flags, Kelly. So on this dock, they're all standing out, they're bent over a little bit. So it gives me a great idea of the wind direction and the wind speed. So today we're going to kind of go out and we're going to find a place on the leeward side, let's say an island or a beach. So depending on where you are, you can make the most of your day.
270, 4 seconds apart at 4 foot. What does that even mean? What does that mean for your boat? Is that nasty weather or what's going on?
It's going to mean stay the heck home.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's stacked up really tight. And a 4 foot wave, guys, is actually an 8 foot drop. So your wave height's measured off of a flat plane. So you got the 4 foot rise, but then you're gonna have that trough on that backside. And if they're only 4 seconds apart, it's gonna be bad.
It's like a washer machine. What we're talking about by seconds, that's timing the seconds between the waves, okay? So 4 seconds, for instance, would be a really tight chop, really nasty weather. Now you get waves that are 12 seconds apart. You're gonna be going up and down them, but you're really not gonna be super uncomfortable. It just, I've never been so impressed with a sub 30 foot boat in a head seat. And I think that monohull versus catamaran, there's a lot of good arguments either way, but as far as what's gonna perform in a head seat, you really can't beat a cat.
So one thing on this Molokai, or these, I guess, cats in general, the big Aquilas we sell too, is just the beam of the boat and the two hulls versus the mono hull, the stability you get. So somebody's way over here on this port side or can fish far on the starboard side. Up on the bow, we got somebody actually standing up on the bow right now, and we're just, you know, sitting here drifting along. And you know, the boat stays flat. It's a nice flat platform.
Now, 10, 20 years ago, there was only one option, and that was teak. That was real wood, required a lot of maintenance. It's beautiful, but it's a full-time job keeping up with it. Nowadays, you're seeing a lot of people go towards these faux teaks, foam material. You can choose just about any color you want, and while it looks cool and you can do some crazy designs, it is awesome on your feet at the end of the day. Your feet aren't hurting, you're not getting fatigued. It's like a cushion underneath your feet. Something that's often overlooked, there's nothing wrong with regular non-skid too. It's easy to clean up at the end of the day, spray it off, do whatever you need to do. And if you wanted to put anything on it after the fact, you can do that. Not so much in salt water, but more in our lakes. You'll see people do carpet. In salt water, you'll see the new infinity woven vinyl material, spruce things up a little bit. Me personally, I'm a non-skid guy. It's just a little hard on your feet at the end of the day. That's why I like a helm pad on the boat. At least if it's a center console and you're gonna be standing up driving, your feet are gonna thank you. So whatever you wanna do to your boat, it's completely up to you. Get crazy with it or keep it classy. See you out on the water, guys.